Greetings, everyone. Prost, and welcome to another review of one of our Oktoberfest special beers. Today we are reviewing I believe I've got this correct, Tucher, Festbier from the Munich area, the Bavaria area of Germany. It is truly a fest beer, so we're going to get into that. We're going to see what makes this beer tick, and we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to have it on. Okay, folks, welcome back. We're going to get into our review here in just a few seconds. I did want to say a few words, though, before we get started. Last time I did review the Anger Celebrator, and I mentioned that it was an Oktoberfest beer. It's not really an Oktoberfest beer. It is consumed during Oktoberfest. Yes, it was consumed pretty much all year. But as I was reading over a lot more of the history, I did realize that any of the Ator style or named beers are actually done for the Lenten season in the Christian religion there. Lenten means it's the Lent season. That's the days before, of course, Easter. That being said, it's a religious beer. I mentioned the monks and everything, so that was correct. But I did say Ator or anything like that was going to be more of an Oktoberfest. And yes, it is consumed it's kind of thought of as an Oktoberfest beer. But I've had them all year as well. So that's kind of a little bit different take on it than what I had earlier. So I do want to clarify that. Other than that, we are going to get in today with gosh, please correct me. Okay. Tucher Festbier. And now this one is a Festbier, Volksfest style beer. And they did mention this online as being a beer that you would drink during Oktoberfest, much like you would have Paulaner, Lowenbrau, Spaten, and so forth. It is in a nice 1 pint can. So I brought my little half-liter mug here, and this is from a new one, brand new one, because I got this one from my little brewery here in Taylors, South Carolina. Every year I get one. This is number 6. Unfortunately, this is a half liter, not a full liter, but hey, whatever, I enjoy it. It's tradition for me. So we're going to pour this into this, and we're going to review it. Actually, we're going to go ahead and start that real quick. So I've got this beer here. I will have the beer specs and a little bit of history coming up very shortly. But let's go ahead and get into it, okay? Now, it is cold. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that for the review. It's not cold like it's, the bottom of the refrigerator. It's actually sitting on the top shelf. It's chilled. It's chilled very well. I'm probably going to say it's about 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to see if I can have you listen to it. This time I'll make sure that it sounds. Oh, gotta love that. Gotta love when that happens. That's just a lovely sound for anything, a bottle, a can, or anything else like that. And remember, we're going to be judging this on the 5 categories of the Beer Judge Certification Program guidelines. With the aroma, the appearance, the taste, naturally, the mouthfeel, that's how it feels in your mouth, and carbonation, etc., and of course the overall impression. I expect a lot of good things out of this one. Naturally, because it's a German beer. It was brewed in Nuremberg, not Nuremberg, where they had the trials. This is Nuremberg in Bavaria, Germany. Now that we've cracked it open, given a little bit of time to breathe, there was not a lot of carbonation that came out initially. It's okay. Don't worry. We're probably going to see a lot of that coming into the glass. So let's go ahead and pour it. Now, again, it's a fest beer. I don't expect it to be like a Doppelbock. I don't expect it to be real dark. Think Hockershore, think Heineken, think, if you happen to have had a Spaten, think that. Let's go ahead and pour it. And it also could be considered what's called a Helles, which as I understand, as I read, Helles meaning light. In other words, light in color, not light in taste, of course. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yes, indeedy. Lots of good carbonation. It comes up. Now, it doesn't set to this line. Now, this is very interesting. Yes, I'm correct. This line right here does denote more or less the fill line, but this glass here actually has it stamped on it that there's a line, maybe about a millimeter or so above this ridge here, above this groove, and it says 0.5 L liter. Okay, so it came up, and I'm going to see if I can get something to show you the color. It's a wonderful color. When I'm looking at it, it's a golden straw color, not completely light like you would Heineken or something like that, not dark like some of the beers we've seen, definitely not hazy. These are not going to be hazy, okay? I also understand that there are certain places in Germany, as I was reading this, that either sell it filtered or unfiltered. This is, of course, going to be filtered. And let's go ahead, and I want to see, hopefully you can see. You can't see the color on that one, can you? Okay, I'm going to pull up my little Beer Judge Certification Program guideline sheet there. It's about that color, okay, from what I can see here on the camera monitor. So it's really a good golden color, okay? You're going to love that. I would say definitely look for the color. I would say I'm going to go with an SRM about 3, maybe 4. A little bit darker than some of the ones that we've seen. Not quite, as light. But this is a light beer, not light being light in calories, light in color and clarity. And for the rest of it, make it nice, glass proud. Gotta love that. Empty out the can very well. And what we have here is beautifully formed, creamy, wonderful, just stark white bubbles. Now they kind of go from a medium to a very creamy white, and they're staying. So they have some body to it. This beer is going to have some body to it, and it really comes right up to that half liter. I mean, absolutely up to that half liter mark. So anyhow, we've seen the appearance. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, the appearance is pretty straightforward. It's got that clarity. It's got that golden color. Now we're going to do the aroma. Multi-flavor. Now, to give you a kind of an idea, whenever I'm smelling multi-flavor, I've done some home brewing, so I know what a beer wort smells like. Okay, and if you've never really smelled brewing beer or beer wort before it's been fermented, it's going to smell like tea. It's going to smell like tea like you would have for iced tea. And that's fine. That's actually what you really kind of want to smell. Yeah. Ooh, good. Now, this is also going to have some of the what we call noble hops. Hallertauer, Satz, Tettnanger, a number of these other noble hops that are grown in the Bavaria area. They're going to be pretty much ubiquitous for all of the other brews there in that area. They know how to brew beers. They know their hops. They grow their own hops in that area because, well, naturally, they got the climate for it. They just got the environment for growing hops. I've also been to a place here locally that has his own hop vines. Now, he doesn't use them, but, okay. Now, we've got the smell. The aroma is wonderful. Yes, I can smell a little bit of hops, not much. What I can smell is, yes, the malt. That malt is just very prevalent. I don't expect a lot of bam like you would from an ale or something like that. I don't expect a lot of fruitiness, a lot of esters, or a lot of anything else like that. What I do expect, though, is a good malty flavor in this, and I think I'm going to find it. Tasting it, very malty, very malty. Actually, a little sweeter than what I was expecting. It's dry being it's not overly cloying. I could taste the hops. I was thinking about the taste of German beers. Now I'm going to say this, and it may put some people off, and I apologize, but there is a flavor that I was trying to identify, and the only way I could say it was a little bit of a metallic, a little bit of a copper taste to it, and it wasn't bad. Don't misunderstand me. When I say that, it gives it just a slight bit of edge to it, and it's actually a pretty good little edge there. This is no exception, but it's not as pronounced as you did in the Eyinger Doppelbock. I'm tasting the hops on the back end. If you see me going like that, I'm more or less aerating my mouth, opening my throat, opening the back of my throat here, letting air come in and go out and come in and go out, usually through the nose, almost like I'm chewing it. And what it does is it aerates the top of my tongue and my taste buds and my palate, and that I get the full flavor to it. It's much like sometimes I'll take a beer and I'll swirl it and I'll smell it, and I will get that nice smell all in my nose, all in my mouth, and I'm doing the same thing when I chew. It does look funny. I'm also feeling the carbonation in my mouth when I drink it. I want to feel what it tastes like whenever I got the carbonation, and as well, if it's naturally carbonated or if it's CO2 or nitrogen carbonated, you can kind of tell, because if you have natural carbonation, those natural flavors are going to come out in the carbonation as well. If it's CO2 carbonated, you might not. You may, and if it's not brewed correctly, you may taste a sort of a weird, I don't know, it just doesn't taste right. The carbonation just doesn't taste right. Okay, so naturally, this is, if I'm not mistaken, I think this brewery was started in the 1600s. Okay, so they know how to brew their beer. All natural, of course. Again, you're going to be tasting the hops on the back end. It's not going to be something that you're going to drink and you're going to go, oh, hops, like you would an IPA. Mm. It's going to be that nice, slightly spicy, yes, slightly metallic taste on the back end, not an off putting flavor, but you're going to smell the hops. Okay. And that's going to be, again, your noble hops. Your noble hops will give you that nose profile. So whenever you're drinking something like a German beer, Hacker Shore, if you're drinking something, something house, if you're drinking Spaten, if you're drinking Paulaner, if you're drinking any of the other German style beers, Warsteiner, you're gonna get that flavor. You're gonna get that flavor profile, that nose, and especially, and that's why I say it's the nose, because that's where you're gonna be tasting it out of. So the taste, I mean, come on, malty on the front end, hoppy on the back end, just an explosion in your mouth. Okay, mouthfeel. So again, it's dry. And I've got the gravity specifications for this one. You don't usually get that, but it's drier. Okay, I believe it was 1.02 or at 1.05, if I'm not mistaken. It's not got a lot of alcohol. Well, okay, it has a little bit more alcohol than I thought. 5.8 alcohol by volume. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be overly alcohol, and especially something like this. You're going to a beer hall or you're going to a location and you're going to be drinking this, and you're going to be putting back a good Moss. That's the big mugs, and maybe one day I'll pull one of those down. So you don't want to get completely overly done. Now, yes, in Germany, Oktoberfest, they tend to drink a little bit more than what they would do normally. But it's sweet. It's sweet. It has a good sweet flavor to it. This is this beer here. But it's just not cloying. It's not sitting in your mouth like you would. I just ate a nice, good candy, and I've got all this candy in my mouth. No, it's not like that. Even the carbonation isn't overpowering. It's got it. It's got the carbonation, but it just doesn't explode and fill up your mouth completely with carbonation. So it allows you to drink the beer and enjoy the beer without having to fight the carbonation, which is pretty standard for, a German beer. You don't have to have that explosion of carbonation like we would in America. We think carbonation is the business, but no. Goes down real well. It doesn't sit in the back of your throat. It doesn't make you feel like you're, just chewing on some sort of a candy. Okay. So we got the aroma, we got the appearance, we got the taste, we got the mouthfeel. Now for the overall impression. I mean, come on. This is a German beer. You can't go wrong. I don't care what the brand. Unless it's been light struck or unless it's been brewed incorrectly, not going to happen. Quality control kind of dropped the ball, not going to happen. It's always going to be fantastic. It's always going to be something to seek out. Is a good German beer, no matter what. Even if you get the standard Girl, Paulaner, if you get the standard Warsteiner, ooh, good carbonation. Or if you get the standard Spaten or really anything German, you're going to hit the mark pretty quickly, and it's going to be wonderful. So, yes, impression, you can't miss. So, I would say if you can find it, okay, and I'll have some pictures in the beer specs of anything from this brewery, and there are a number of them. There's Weissbier, the Hefeweizen, there's a Rotbier, I think it's kind of like a reddish beer. If you can find anything from this brewery, I definitely would suggest you get this. So, that being said, next thing we have is the beer specs.
Helles Lager. Helles, or Hell, is a traditional German pale lager beer, produced chiefly in southern Germany, particularly Munich. The German word Hell can be translated as bright, light, or pale. Helles-style beers typically are full-bodied, mildly sweet, and light-colored, with low bitterness. The beer is clear due to filtration before bottling, although some restaurants and breweries do offer an unfiltered version. Munich-style Helles is a yellow beer brewed using cool fermentation with a lager yeast such as Saccharomyces pastorianus, bitter hops such as Hallertau hops, and an original specific gravity, OG, between 1.044 and 1.053, and between 4.5 and 6% alcohol by volume. Helles has a less pronounced hop flavor than German Pilsner beers and can be considered a traditional light Oktoberfest beer, along with Marzen beer and Wiener Marzen. Until the 1960s, Helles was universally available in German-speaking regions. In many regions, Helles was slowly replaced by Pilsner-style beers, which was also driven by changing consumer preferences from draft beer to bottled beer. In regions outside of southern Germany, Helles was regaining popularity in 2010, particularly Berlin, where the beer's traditional image has become trendy. Tucher, nestled in its home in northern Bavaria and out of reach of the festivals that overtake Munich's fairgrounds each fall, the focus is on Frühlingsfest and celebrating the end of the cold winter months. Tucher Brau produces lagers, several wheat beers, seasonal beers such as the Christmas beer, and specialty beers. As such, this Festbier is brewed as a fuller-bodied Helles lager with a slightly louder presence of Old World hops instead of a Marzen, and is available to festivals year-round. Tucher Brewery opened in 1672, 351 years ago. Style, Festbier, ABV, 5.8%.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of history on the Fest beers and this brewery here. Again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Tucher Brewery. It's a Fest beer. Hope you enjoyed that. I learned a lot too. The funny thing about it is I tried to find as much as I could on this brewery. Couldn't find anything with the exception that I went to their website. Naturally, everything's written in German, and there wasn't a lot of history about it. Okay, so I couldn't pull a lot down. I did actually go on and look up, a Hellesbach. Okay, I think this more or less qualifies for that. So, but it said special lager. Oh, I love that. Let's see. Was it full-bodied? Golden Fest beer with a naturally balanced finish and brewed and bottled in Germany. Yes, I would definitely agree with that. We're also going to get into, at some point, the German purity law. I did mention that on the can here. We'll see about that later on. Anyhow, thank you again. Remember, let me see if I can point correctly. Subscribe, okay? Hit the notification bell. And like the video. Let us know how you feel about it. Leave your comments down below, good, bad, or otherwise. I definitely want to hear what you think about our content here. And of course, anything we can do better. If you have a beer you want us to review, please let us know. Now, I do want to mention, yes, look at the description down below while you're there. Remember, pick up the Beer Review Logbook, $8.99 off of Amazon. You can't go wrong with it. Again, everything you need to know, you can write down your experiences, pocket size. And if you're in the upstate of South Carolina or in a lot of different areas around the region, I believe they have them in other cities here, the Ale Trail, and this is the Upstate Ale Trail. It allows you to go through and find different breweries that you never knew existed. You can go around and tick them off and say, I've been there, I've got this review for it, I love the place, I hate the place, whatever, but you'll keep a record of it there. If you're at a Total Wine, remember, go to the Total Wine and see if they have a copy of this book. The Total Wine Total Guide to Beer. Okay, this is my go-to right here. This is this is the almost like the Bible to me, if you would, a little pocket mini Bible. It's 12 years old, a little tattered, but it's free. You pick it up, or if you can't find it there, email them, ask them if they have an electronic version, or if they even have a print version for that matter. They may be able to send you one, so try that. Remember, a lot of the times I'll go through and I'll rate my beers. I can't say too much about them. I mean, it's a wonderful little sheet here. This is the beer score sheet from the Beer Judge Certification Program. What this is going to do is going to allow you to mark off your experience, anything you find from the 5 categories. You remember, we love our 5 categories. As well, it allows you to kind of diagnose any off flavors you might be tasting in your beer. This is free. Take it, pull it down, print it off. You can't go wrong. And remember, folks, again, subscribe, right? Hit the notification bell for the next episode. As well, hit the like button. And remember, let us know, okay? I can't say that enough. Now, Prost. Chin chin. Kanpai. Salud. And of course, from America, cheers. And again, continuing, happy Oktoberfest. Peace, love, and beer.